All right, and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back, my fellow brothers and sisters, back to my channel. Today is July 4th, 2020. Happy Independence Day to whoever cares. I don't know. Anyways, I am here putting out another video for the channel over the weekend. Today I'm specifically putting out part 6 to my Back to Basics series. We're going to be talking about some basic energy manipulation exercises here. And later on tonight I do have a more of a ritual I need to do later on. I'm continuing my rituals with Lucifer, and I'll be doing the Shadow Companion ritual out of the Rites of Lucifer book by the Temple of Ascending Flame. I am looking to possibly videotape that one, so I will see how that goes. If it comes out relatively well, I will definitely go ahead and post it up on the site. Other than that, this is probably going to be one of the only videos I put out this weekend. Unless if I end up writing up another energy manipulation exercise series. So, before we get into the exercises, of course, I do appreciate you coming back and joining me on the channel. If you are a subscriber already, I appreciate that very much. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, of course, I do encourage you to do that. There is a small bell icon right here below this right hand portion of the screen. If you press that, you will be subscribed to my channel at that point. Anytime I put out any new content to my channel, at that point you can go ahead and view that when it comes out. I do, of course, encourage likes to my videos. I do appreciate that very much. And if there is something that you don't like about the video, please go ahead and let me know. If it's a technical issue, let me know. I'll see about getting that fixed. Okay. And if you are new, again, I appreciate you coming and taking a look at what I have to offer. So let's go ahead and jump into that video. Again, back to basics, part 6. We're talking about energy manipulation exercises. A lot of these are going to be based already on things that we've been talking about up to this point, and I'll kind of cover a little bit of that, how it kind of works in with what we've been doing up to this point, as far as like breathing exercises, flow of energy, directing energy, stuff like that. All right. So we've learned basic things like basic relaxation exercises and some basic breathing exercises. Today we're going to be putting those together, all along with some basic visualization skills to work with our energy manipulation. Okay, I'm going to take my compression glove off here for this. All right. Energy manipulation the energy manipulation we're going to be doing will combine some or all these techniques, of course, and along with others such as gestures or words of power. All these do help us connect with certain universal forces or create effects within ourselves or our rituals. Okay. So the first one we're going to be doing is opening the flow of energy, and this is just a very basic exercise. We're going to be opening the flow of energy in our hands at this point. Okay. So what I want you to do, now this might be a difficult experience for some people in the beginning, but as long as you follow through with the exercises, this will help with getting the energy to flow through the palms of the hands, particularly the palms. The fingertips, energy will flow through those eventually, as well as you continue with practice. Right now we're just focusing on the palms of the hand here. Okay. So begin with, just kind of shake your hands out a little bit, kind of get the any sensation on the hands just for the moment. Okay, after you're done shaking those hands lightly, I want you to flick your fingers, okay, and give it a bit of a good stretch. So when you flick your fingers, don't do like this, kind of like spread them out. When you do that, okay, do that about 12 times for both your hands. And that should be about enough right there. Okay. That's just to give a good stretch in the hands and kind of help out with opening the chakras in the palm there, all right? And then I want you to rotate both of your wrists, and they're going to be doing this clockwise and counterclockwise. And again, do this about 12 times. And then we're going to rub or work the chakras on our palms with our fingertips at this point. And all you need to do is just take your palm on one hand, fingers on the other, and do this 12 times in one direction. So 12 times clockwise, go in a circular motion. Okay, and then work it 12 times in the other direction. And make sure you do this for both palms. Okay. So, just as a side note here, if you haven't worked with or developed your hand chakras, you are going to be opening your hands to new sensations at this point. As you do use your hand chakras and your finger chakras a little bit more, they do begin to expand and contract and stretch out. Okay, and in some cases, this can become a bit achy for some people, particularly in the palms of the hand, or you feel it in the back of the hands, particularly because the chakra does pass through the front and back of the hand. And if you do experience a little bit of achiness there because you feel that the chakra is expanding um, and stretching at that point, just you can simply take a little bit of like a hand wash and put a little bit of sea salt in it, fine sea salt, and scrub the palms of the hand with that, or just put like some sea salt in a bowl. Mix a little bit of water in it so it's a little bit pasty again. You want to wash the front and the palms of the hands and the back of the hand really good. Wash it off, give it a good rinse. And if you do experience a little bit of chafing on the hands from the salt, you might want to use a moisturizer on your hands after that. But eventually, that that achiness is gonna go away from the stretching of the chakras. So that is the first exercise. Okay, so we want to get that energy flowing in the palms. Okay. Now, the second one we're going to be working on energy flow. Okay, so just kind of relax, and you can rub your hands together. You can do it in any type of circle. Now, eventually, some people are going to feel warmth on the hand or tingling, or some other sensation may become apparent. The importance of this step simply is to simply take note of the sensation of the changes on the palms of the hand at this point. Okay. And then what I want you to do is begin with your hands close together. I'm going to move a few things here. Begin with your hands close together and feel the energy flow between the palms of the hands. Okay. Um, Now, if you're having a little bit of a problem, try to open up the um, open up the arms a little bit. If you're having a little bit of a problem, if you're like this, where your arms are close to the sides, the energy isn't really flowing through that well. Try to keep your arms up. Okay, but again, you can have your fingers this way if you want, or just up. That's fine. What you're trying to do is feel the energy moving between both hands at this point. Okay, and some people are going to feel something at first, and some won't. Okay, some may need to get their hands closer than others. Others can kind of do it further away. Um, but again, what we're trying to do is focus on that sensation. Okay. And of course, anytime that you do this, at the end of this exercise, you want to make sure you record everything in your journal, let you know like what type of progress you're having. Okay. um, okay, and just as a note, make sure you go ahead and have fun with these exercises. All right. Um, Trying to take them too seriously, just have a little bit of fun with them. Okay, but what I want you to do is to have that, you can slowly pull your hands apart to continue to feel that flow of energy. And again, some people are going to experience, are going to be able to pull their hands apart further than others. Just take your time with it, you know. Take note of the sensation that you're having between the hands. What does it feel like? Um, you know, does it feel like grainy or static, like static electricity? Is there like actual flow there? Is there heat in the hands? Kind of take note of those sensations. Okay. Now, generally, for instance, I'm right-handed. Okay, so when it comes to most people are going to be dominant in one hand, which is like their power hand or what they consider their projection hand, and other people are passive with the other, or what they call their attraction hand, or um, their absorption hand. Okay, so energy generally flows in one side and then out the other. So generally, people like myself who are right-handed, we have a tendency to draw universal energy through our left hand, and then we project it through our right hand. Okay, and then if you're left-handed, this is generally the opposite. But it's not true for everyone. Okay, just because you're left-handed, it doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to be projecting with your left hand. Again, some people may have skill with both hands, where they can draw in energy with both hands and project it with both hands. And essentially, you really want to go ahead and get to that point. Okay, and we're going to be kind of like doing that here at during this exercise. Okay, whoops. Okay, but at first, what I want you to do is simply just get your directing the energy with your will at first. It's going to kind of feel odd or unusual for some in the beginning, but over time you'll get used to it. Okay, so what I want you to do is, rather than so when we're here and we're feeling the flow of energy, or getting the energy to flow, energy is coming out of my right hand and going into my left hand. What we want to do is to get that energy to flow in a normal direction like it would, and then we're going to reverse that flow. So all you need to do is, again, keep your arms up, feel that energy pulling into your left, and feel it go up your arm, across your shoulder blades, and then down your right arm and up your right hand. And just kind of feel that energy, circle that energy around a couple times. And if you need to, go ahead and you can use your breath for this to help direct energy, along with your will. Just focus on that. And then after you've circled that energy a couple times, stop and reverse the flow. So in this case, I'm projecting energy out of my left hand and into my right to get the energy circulating in the opposite direction. Okay, and I'm sure you kind of get the idea at that point. Again, go ahead and have fun with this. You don't have to take it very seriously. Okay, I'm just trying to get you to understand the basics of flowing energy. Okay, if you really want to think about how this applies to what we've been doing up to this point, think about the Kundalini meditation that I put out last weekend. When you start with your basic chakra or your base chakra or your root chakra, and you're pulling that energy up. Okay, and then when it comes out the top of the head, and it crowns, the energy comes down around you and kind of forms like a circle around you. And then when it gets to the ground, your feet pull the energy back up and returns to the ground, and then again back up. And really, in a sense, this is kind of what we're doing. We're just doing it with the hands, as opposed to with Kundalini energy. So that's about the easiest way I could probably explain it to you, to kind of give you an example of how we've already done this type of energy manipulation at this point. Okay, so again, just kind of feel that energy, let it flow between both of the hands, in its normal direction. Once you get a point, go ahead and stop that, will it, think about it for a moment, reverse that flow, feel that energy flowing in the opposite direction. And again, you'll find it's not like you need to do this for any particular period amount of time. Just a couple minutes a day is all you really need, and you'll end up being able to develop that just fine. So let's move on to the third step, and we're going to be making a ball of energy. Okay, and this is very basic. Basic ball of energy is usually what you encounter in a lot of your basic meditations and starting any type of magical practice. It's a very basic geometric shape, and you can start manipulating it into other things at that point. So simply just go ahead and concentrate. Again, begin with your hands close together, about 6 inches apart. If you need to rub your hands or clear your hands out, go ahead and flick your fingers a couple times. Rub your palms together. And again, begin with your hands 6 inches apart. And concentrate on that flow of energy and projecting both. You want to project energy out from both your palms into that space between your hands there. And feel that energy build for a moment or two. And slowly press that force together against the palm, against your hands. Feel that force pressing against the palms of your hands there. Imagine that force. And create a ball out of that energy. And feel it. See it. Sorry, my microphone's in the way there. Feel it. All right. So follow the contours of the ball with both hands for just a moment. Feel it there. And then center the ball back between your hands. And now what I want you to do is go ahead and concentrate with your breath. And I want you to fill that ball with energy. Now you can do this, you can imagine it either way that you want, okay? If you want to see this, the energy flowing from both your hands into the ball, causing the ball to expand, that's fine. If you want to imagine like an imaginary hose or something from your mouth to the ball, that's fine. You can direct that energy however you want. Use your imagination. And once you have that, again, expand that ball between your hands. You can imagine it like a big balloon. In between both your hands. You kind of press on that a little bit, and you're going to feel it. You're going to feel a little bit of resistance. Something's there. Just take a moment to feel that. Press on it a bit. And take a note of what that feels like. What does that feel like? To me, it feels a little bouncy. I press on it a little bit. It wants to push against my palms a bit. What does that kind of, take a note what that feels like to you. If you want to make it bigger, you can make it a little bit bigger. Okay. Now, really push against that ball. You're going to feel some resistance there. Push, 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 push. So basically like it pops, okay? You don't have anything there like now anymore between your hands. Now, create the ball again. Feel it, feel it, feel it. And it's there. This time, instead of popping the ball, what I want you to do is compress it. Okay, to about the size of a tennis ball. Okay, we'll just want to compress it. Just trying to think of how. Just imagine it deflating a little bit. Okay, you don't want it to burst at this point. Just kind of imagine like you're removing air from it as you compress it, and to about the size of a tennis ball. Okay, so what I usually do is just inhale that. Okay, usually do it a couple times there. Alright, so my ball is basically about the size of a baseball at this point. Okay, and you get the general idea. You kind of play with this a little bit. You can make the ball as big as you want. You can make it as small as you want. Okay. Again, just kind of have fun with it. And learn to just kind of manipulate the energy and work with it a little bit. Now, if you're with a group, okay, some people will like want to play. It's like, hey, toss the ball between a variety of people, and that's fine. If you want to go ahead and do that, if you're like in a group, you're in a group setting, that's totally fine. Whatever games you guys want to play with that's great. Okay, just make sure in the end you go ahead and record your notes in your journal. What was your experience with all that, and you can go from there. Now, anytime that you do these exercises, such as a flow of energy or the ball of energy at this point, right now I'm just giving you basic exercises, okay? But at this point, you're really just using breathing and visualization at this point, and perhaps even like a little using your touch. But try to put as many senses in there as you possibly can. You know, feel it, see it. Is there sound? Like, do you hear sound, or do you imagine sound with that as the energy is flowing back and forth? The more senses that you can put into this, the better. Okay, and that's going to help you with your other meditations that we talked about. When you're trying to build your other like clairvoyant senses, and your magical senses. It's going to help out with that a little bit as well. Okay, I'm not certain if you can like really put taste into something like that. If you're able to, I mean, by all means, go ahead and try. I've never personally done that myself, so if you do and you get experience with it, by all means, let me know what it feels like. Okay, or what the experience is like. I like to find that out myself. Okay, so let's go on with number 4. We're just going to be talking about grounding energy in this one. And this is a very common practice. Anybody who's done any type of energy working, or you work in alternative medicine, like Reiki or anything like that, or you're doing energy healing, energy work, you're always told to ground yourself, particularly after you do working, like any type of energy work. Okay, and simply all that does is clear your body of excess energy, so that you're not walking around with a lot of extra energy, like an energy conduit. Okay, so a lot of people, it's just going to depend on how you want to do it. If you want to stand still with your palms to your side, that's fine. You can go ahead and do that. Some will want to stand, with their palms out, their arms outstretched with their palms facing, the floor, in order to help, project that energy down. That's fine as well. People that are, that have a martial arts background, if you want to take a horse stance, you can go ahead and do that. That's totally fine as well. But whatever type of stance you want to take to help ground your energy is totally fine. If you want to be seated, during this practice, you can do that as well. I probably wouldn't suggest lying down for something like this. Um, Usually standing or sitting is best for something like this. So just simply feel that excess energy flowing down, and you want to project that energy down through your body, through your basic chakra or your root chakra, and see that energy go down through the legs, through the soles of the feet, and visualize that energy flowing down into the earth. Okay, um, you can project it down as far as you want. Typically, 3 meters, 10 feet, 12 feet is generally typical. Okay, just feel that excess energy flow down and out of you, to the point that you kind of normalize. Okay, you don't need that extra energy there. Um, and once you've done that, you're fine at that point. Um, Now, a lot of people simply say, well, you can simply ground yourself by having a meal afterwards, stopping by McDonald's, snacking on a Big Mac or whatever. But, if you're out in the woods, you're not, near a McDonald's or a 7-Eleven or whatever, you're out in the woods and you're doing stuff with your group, or you're by yourself and you didn't bring anything with you, this is probably the next best thing. Simply just go ahead and wherever you're at, stand still, um, think for a moment, collect that energy, and just let that energy flow down and push it down through your body, through your legs, through the soles of your feet, down into the earth. Okay, if you want to do this again with your shoes off as well, you could do that. Okay, but you don't necessarily need to take your shoes off or anything like this. And that was number 4, grounding energy. Now we're going to stabilize energy. Okay, number 5. Can't think of too many books that actually talk about stabilizing energy, especially at the beginning point, or the beginning of any type of practice. The reason I included this is I learned this a number of years back when I was doing my alternative medicine practice, and our teachers taught us how to stabilize energy, particularly in healing work. Okay, but just to give you an idea of what stabilizing energy is, I want to go ahead and cover that here. So some magicians will simply say this is done with intent. Okay, you get a talisman or you get a sigil, and you direct your energy and you charge the device over time. That they'll say that that's kind of like stabilizing energy, but really what happens is when after you've directed energy into something like a talisman or a sigil, or you've directed energy towards a particular intent or something like that, energy begins to wane after a while, and it needs to be done again sometimes. Okay, particularly with talismans and stuff like that, you do need to keep that charge up on a regular basis. If you have a mojo bag or a wanja bag or something like that, those you charge a device and that's fine, but after a while it needs to be recharged, and so that's why you sometimes take a mojo bag or a gree bag. There's like many different types of words for it. You put it by a candle, you light the candle, and that's supposed to help charge that item. Or you could do the same thing with a talisman or a sigil, or you could just direct your own will at that point and direct meditative energy to charge it. Anyways, the whole point of stabilizing energy is to keep it so that that flow of energy remains constant, so that you don't need to charge it over time so much. Okay, and we're going to do a little bit of exercise to kind of teach you this, or at least get you to understand it a little bit, and you'll be able to see for yourself whether or not you want to go ahead and do this. You don't have to, but it's a technique that you might want to have in your back pocket at some point. So let's do a little bit of experiment. What I want you to do is take two different corners of your room. Okay, upper corners are the best. You don't want anything down low where pets or children or anything are to be like going through that energy that you're going to be placing. Okay, in one corner, we'll say like in the left hand corner of the room, what I want you to do is we're going to take that ball of energy we created earlier and we're going to direct it up into the corner of the room, okay? And expand it. Build that ball until you can like feel it. Again, we're going to be using the palms of the hands at that point. Press on it, feel it, and once you have that ball there, you know that it's there. I want you to leave it alone. Okay. Now go to the other side of the room, the opposite side of the room, and I want you to make another ball of energy. Except this time, once you make that ball of energy and you have it up there and you make it really big, okay, what I want you to do is just verbally or mentally command the energy to stabilize. Just say stabilize, stabilize, stabilize. You have to do, normally what I do is I use like my right hand, and then I direct the energy and I just say stabilize, stabilize, stabilize. Okay, and that's your intent. You want to go ahead and stabilize that energy so that it stays there. And then walk away at that point. And then go about your day, do whatever you want to do, that's fine. The next day, come back, okay, activate the flow of energy in your palms, get your palms, your hands rub them together, flick your fingers, all that, okay. And then go to the first ball that you did not stabilize and check it. Feel for it. Does it feel different? Does the size of the ball change? Is it as dense as it was the day previous? Is it less dense? Okay. And then and then once you have that, go over to the other corner and check the ball that you put stabilizing energy on. And again, look for changes. Does it feel different? Does the size of the ball change? Is it the same? Does it still feel as it did the day previous? And this was a very basic energy exercise we learned when I was going through my alternative medicine practice. And you do find that, the people who are energy sensitive enough to detect it, that the one that was not stabilized over the course of even a day, lost energy and became less dense and the size changed, whereas the one that does receive stabilizing energy relatively remains about the same, over the course of time. And then again, as time goes by, that energy eventually dissipates. So this is just, again, another way that we can use energy to our advantage when we're doing any type of magical work. Okay, so again, go ahead and record your results in your journal, and then we're good to you're good to go at that point. And this is going to come to the last one that I want to cover in this particular video, and what we're going to be doing is really changing the feeling or the energy of a room. Okay, again, this is very, very basic. Something I learned years ago, again, when I first started with alternative medicine. Sometimes, you walk into a room and it feels stuffy. There's a very heavy feeling. The air feels stagnant. Or you get an idea like there was maybe an argument in the room at some point. We all have that kind of sixth sense feeling that we just can't seem to put our finger on, like right at that point. But if you ever want to change the energy in a room, and you don't have time to do a standard banishing ritual like lesser banishing, the pentagram, or anything like that, you can simply do this by clapping your hands. Okay, and I would say the more people that you have to join in on this, the better. Okay, it kind of changes the the way that I can describe it is it kind of changes the mood of the room to like almost a happy feeling, if that makes any type of sense. Um, if the What happens is that the air quality seems to change. It gets lighter, more like grainy. Again, if that makes any type of sense to you. But if you don't believe me, go ahead and try it sometime. Go ahead. It's not something that requires a lot of action at that point. Again, you're really just clapping really loud, and you're doing it over the course of maybe about a minute. Once you get that clapping finished, feel and try to get a sense of the room at that point. What changed about it, and I'm not saying this is like replaces a proper banishing ritual, but it's something that, again, just can be like stored away in your back pocket. You need to go ahead and do something. Um, you can't do a proper banishing for whatever reason. Just go ahead and do this, and you'll be fine for the time. Again, just go ahead and try it. And if you don't like doing it, that's fine. You can go ahead and not do it. Another option might be, now that I think about it, would be, if you wanted to change the energy of a room or the feeling within a room. And again, you didn't have a proper you couldn't do a proper banishing for whatever reason. So you're just um, short on time. Is you could get a group of people together and do Laughing Buddha. Okay. Now I did talk about that in one of my videos regarding releasing stress. Okay. And that's where you basically take a stance, palms facing up, and you really put out a very bellowous laugh. The more, the better. Okay. I'll go ahead and see about putting that link in the description below regarding that. That we could go to that video and check it out. Laughing Buddha would probably be the only other way I could think of that would help change the energy flow of a room if you absolutely had to in a very, very short amount of time, without, again, doing proper managing. So go ahead and check that out. And I think that's going to be it for this particular video. It's about 2:30 p.m. here. I might have time to go ahead and write up my transcripts for another energy manipulation video. I don't know if I'll have time to go ahead and actually record it before I go ahead and do my ritual later on with Lucifer. But we'll see what happens. Perhaps I could get it out early in the morning tomorrow, and that'll probably be my other ritual or my other video for the weekend. So with that, folks, I do bid you a very fond farewell. Thank you for joining me today on this channel. Again, if you haven't subscribed already, I do encourage you to do that. Please do share my videos with other people. You don't know who can benefit from them, especially if they are new. I am trying to put these videos out again to help new practitioners get a good, hopefully get a good start with their practices. Help build a solid foundation for them that will last them during their practices. So hope everyone appreciates it, and we'll see you next time in the next video. Peace, infernal blessings to all. Goodbye. Take care.